All right. Just wanted to make sure everything looked okay on the screen. We can see everything. All right. Hi, guys. How are you? Hello, and welcome to our special event. I'm so excited to be here for this event, Your Best Year Yet 2023. Such a fun event. And I want to give people just a second to hop on. And I know that I'm doing this in the middle of the afternoon, so a lot of people will have to catch this on the replay. No problem. All right. So while I give everyone a minute to hop on, I will just tell you a little bit about me. If you're new to the group or new to my workshops, my name is Jacqueline Emery, and I'm a certified life coach and founder of a program called Life in the Driver's Seat. And I am passionate about helping people go from surviving their life to living their life on purpose. And living your life on purpose means getting into the driver's seat of your life and intentionally creating the results in the life that you really want. And why is this so important? Because so many of us are just living our lives unconsciously. And we want to be intentional with our lives and with what we're working towards and how we're growing and evolving. Because when we are growing and evolving, and I'm going to talk about that in just one second here, when we have a vision and we're growing and evolving and we know what we want and what we're working towards, that is when we feel our best. It's when we are at our best. It's what's inside of us. It's what I truly believe it's what we're meant here. It's what we're meant for. We are here to grow and evolve. And I really think that's what's missing in so many people's lives. We want to create a life and be working towards this life that we don't have to buffer from and avoid. We don't have to overeat and overdrink and binge on Netflix to escape the life that we're living. We want to intentionally create the life that we love. So I'm super excited to share this process with you guys and help you guys intentionally create 2023 to be exactly what you want it to be. This process I'm going to teach you guys, I have used over and over to transform many areas of my life. I've used it to lose weight. I've used it to be a better parent. I've used it to create my podcast when I had a dream of doing a podcast. I've used it to create my business. I used it to get our whole home set up in record timing. Everyone's like, how did you get all this furniture and get this house all put together? It's this process that I use right here. It's about intentionally creating goals, creating a vision, and getting things done intentionally. So let's get started. Okay. So the first thing I want to share with you guys quickly is about intentionality, about being intentional, because that's what this is all about. That's what this workshop is all about, is helping you to be intentional with creating your upcoming year. So intentional, the definition, is done on purpose. It's deliberate. And this is the way so many people are not living, right? We're not living on purpose. We're not doing things deliberately. And so here, I just quickly put the car, and if you've watched my other workshops, you might have seen this lovely drawing before. But life in the passenger seat versus life in the driver's seat, what is that? Most people are living life in the passenger seat, okay? So they're not intentionally creating their life and the results. They're just along for the ride. And that's why, at the end of the year, we look back and we're like, oh my gosh, I didn't get... my life doesn't look like what I thought that it would, or, oh my gosh, the last 5 years have just flown by, okay? That's life in the passenger seat, okay? So this workshop and your best year yet, creating that, is about getting into the driver's seat and figuring out what you want and then making a plan to get that, okay? So living in the passenger seat is living life unconsciously, and living life in the driver's seat is living on purpose. And then down here I put, if we don't know where we're going, we'll end up somewhere else. That's where so many of us are, right? If we don't know where we're going, we end up somewhere else. So that's what this workshop is all about, and my program and the work I do with my clients. So now I quickly want to go over the workshop agenda. Okay, so what are the next 3 days going to look like? So day one, which is today, we are going to create a vision. So day one is all about creating a vision. Then day two, which is tomorrow, we're going to be setting effective goals. And then day three is making an action plan and overcoming obstacles. And these are going to be, these days, I split it into 3 days, and they're going to be fairly short as far as the videos, this live portion goes. So maybe anywhere between 15 and 30 minutes, I would say, per day. So very easy to check in live and do this with me. But I did it in 3 days and kept them pretty short and simple because where the work is outside of this video. So I want you guys to actually do the homework, like do the exercises we're going to talk about, and that's where the work's going to come in. So the videos might not be very long, but I want you guys to really do the deep work outside of this because it's so worth it. Like this work and getting your plan for 2023 to make it all you want it to be is so worth the time that you're going to put in. These 3 days of work to set up for an entire year, it's like slowing down to speed up, right? I always think of that when it's when I'm working with clients too. It's like planning things out might take time and it might take work and effort, and we just think we don't have time or energy to do it. But what we gain, like how much more you'll get done in your year and how you'll feel, it's like this is such a small thing to do, such a small investment to get so much more back, so much more return in your upcoming year, okay? So I really want you guys to do the work. So today is day number 1. Today is all about creating your vision. So in today's video, day 1, we're going to first talk about something called your future self. I'm going to lead you guys through an exercise. Then we'll talk about actually creating your vision. And then lastly, we'll talk about connecting to your why these things are so important to you. All right, so let's get started. Day 1. So first I want to talk to you guys about an exercise or a tool called your future self. And this tool, it's kind of like a bonus in this workshop. I teach this within my program, Life in the Driver's Seat, but I really feel like this gets you in the energy to do the rest of the workshop, to really create your vision. So this is a fantastic tool, and I'm super excited to share it with you. So your future self is basically, it's you in your future. And this future self has all the goals that you want to achieve. Okay, so I like to think of like we have a past self, we have a present self, and then we have a future self. And our past self is the self that we thank for everything that we have right now. Okay, because our past self had to go through all of the hard work and all of the hard emotions to get us where we are today. Okay, so now we enjoy all of the things in our current life because our past self did all of those things. Okay, and the same for our future self. So I always think what I do right now, I'm doing for my future self, so that when I'm there, I'm going to look back at myself here, my past self, and be thankful for that. And this is funny because last night we were on the couch watching a Christmas movie and my daughter was like cracking her neck, crack, 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 crack. And I was like, Aubrey, don't do that. And she was like, it's fine. It feels good. And I said, yeah, but your future self is going to be really upset at you for doing that. And she was like, what do you mean? I said, your future self that's in pain is going to look back and say, wow, past self, I wish you hadn't have been cracking your neck. So we like use that in our home. Okay. So it's just a little picture of how our future self works. So everything you're doing right now, your future self is going to benefit from it or not. Okay, so think of your future self. It almost helps to think of them as someone else, okay, like someone outside of you. Your past self, your present self, your future self. So your future self is the future self that you envision that is enjoying the goals that you want, okay? So they're living out the life that you want to live, okay? So it's envision yourself. I want you guys to envision yourself a year from now. Okay, and I really want you to like do this exercise. You can do it with me, but even after this video is over, I want you guys to really take some time because again, this is going to help you get into the energy of creating your vision. Okay, so envision yourself a year from now, the you that has the results that you desire. So I want you to really just take a minute and just close your eyes and like take a deep breath. And I want you to picture yourself a year from now. And another way I like to ask my clients this is when we're on like our consults, I'll say, okay, if you could wave a magic wand and you could have whatever you want, your life could look like whatever you want 6 months. Usually I work with my clients for 6 months or even a year from now. Like, what would that look like? Okay, so another way to use this is using our future self tool. So close your eyes, take a deep breath, and think to yourself, okay, I'm going to picture myself, envision myself a year from now at the end of 2023. And then I want you to get very specific about what you see. Okay, so what do you look like at the end of next year? What do you look like? What do you weigh? What does your hair look like? What clothes are you wearing? I want you to get very specific on envisioning your future self. Where do you live? Who are you with? Like, who are you surrounded by? What are you doing? Where do you work? How much money do you have? I want you to give as much detail as possible. So I want you to get out a piece of paper and actually do this exercise. Again, you can do this on the video or off of the video. Like I said, you're going to have homework. These videos are fairly short. The work comes outside of the video. So get a piece of paper, really take some time, and envision yourself a year from now. Exactly, specifically, what does your life look like a year from now? Ideally, okay, because your brain's going to say, oh, but this, it's going to come up with a bunch of excuses. Okay, don't listen to that. Don't listen to that voice. Don't listen to your brain getting in your head, right? Just really think, in my ideal life, what would it look like? And then describe it, okay? So another way our future self really helps us is when we visit our future self and we envision what we really want and the life that we really want, what does that look like? Then we can ask ourselves, how do we feel? So when we visit that future self, we can actually embody that person. We can envision it. We can feel what it feels like, feel the feelings that we would feel if we had that. If we had the body that we want, if we had the relationship that we want, we're living in the home and the location that we want, we have the career we want and the money we want. Like, what does that feel like in our body? And what that does is it allows us to identify, one, what we would feel like if we had that, which is a fantastic motivator for doing the hard work to get there, like incredible. But two, if we ask ourselves what we feel like as that person, we can then know how we want to feel right now in order to get there. Because most people feel like once they get there, then they're going to feel proud and fulfilled and like all of the happy and all of these things. And they think, well, once I get to that vision, to that future self, then I'll feel those things. And it's like, no, we have to take those feelings into our present self, feel those feelings, and then take action from those feelings. Because that's how you get to be that person. You get to be that person by feeling those feelings right now and then taking action and creating it from that place. Okay, so we don't wait to get there to feel that. We figure out, we visit our future self, how would we feel? We feel that in our body, and then we recreate it right now. And that's something we go deep into in my program, is how to generate feelings. Okay, if my future self feels proud and fulfilled, okay, how do I generate that here? Like, how do I generate that right now in my current life in order to create that and get to my future self? So we might think, okay, if I want to feel proud, what thoughts would I have to think on purpose to create that feeling in my body right now? What would I have to focus on? Okay, if I want to feel fulfilled, if I want to feel happy, if I want to feel motivated, if I want to feel excited and passionate, what thoughts, pick a feeling, don't get overwhelmed in picking a million, pick a feeling when you visit your future self. What is that dominant feeling? And then how can I create it right now in order to create this vision going into 2023? I want to act as if. I want to be that person now to create my vision for 2023, to create these goals and make them a reality. Okay? And then here I put take action from this place. The more you can get into the feeling, you're going to fall out of the feeling too. You're going to fall, so don't be disappointed. Like, you're going to fall out of the feeling, right? You're not always going to feel passionate and motivated. You're going to fall out of it. But as much as you can get into feeling those feelings, those dominant feelings that your future self has, and take action from there, the faster and the more permanent your results are going to be. Okay, so it's like, my coach always calls it like a high value cycle. You're going to fall in and out, but as much as you can get to that feeling and generate that feeling and take action from that, the more effective your actions are going to be. Okay, so that's your future self, and I really want you guys to, one, I just absolutely love this tool. I find it so helpful, and we're going to refer back to this on, I think, day 3, because I'm going to do something else. We're going to refer back to our future self to help us in another exercise, but this is just an invaluable tool to have at your disposal. And again, I just wanted to share that with you first to really get your creative juices flowing so that we can create your vision. Because a lot of times people need that motivation and that belief and that feeling those feelings and really envisioning it to even get to the part where they can create a vision. A lot of people are like, I don't believe it. They don't feel it in their body, and it becomes very hard. They're like, and they just kind of tune out everything about creating a vision because they don't even want to go there, right? They don't believe it. So this will really get your creative juices flowing, okay? So let's move on to actually creating your vision. Okay, we're going to create your vision for 2023. We're going to create your vision for the following year. And I like to think of your vision, this is what I do in my program with my clients. I always tell them your vision, this tool that we create, is putting your destination into the GPS. So again, so many of us are living our life and living our years without having a destination in the GPS. We're just okay, we'll see what this year brings. And we're reacting to the things that happen to us, and we're okay, we'll react to this, and oh, what's this circumstance coming my way? And we're just in the passenger seat, letting life take us where it may. And it's having a vision of where you're going is putting a destination into the GPS of your car, of your life, okay? And it's the quote I said before, it's if we don't know where we're going, we'll end up somewhere else. That's the power of a vision. You know it's your destination, and then you know where you're going, okay? So what does I want you to ask yourself, what does your ideal life look like a year from now in the following areas? Okay, so again, we used our future self to kind of embody that and visit that future and kind of see what comes up. Now I want you to just consciously think about, what do you want? Okay, what did you see? What do you want? And these are the areas that I have in my vision, okay, in my, this is a tool we create. Again, it's called your life vision. So these are the areas that I have. Now, you might have completely different areas. See, I have parenting in mind, and you might not be a parent. That's up to you. You might just completely omit that. I have, spirituality. You might omit that. Okay, these are mine, and it's going to look different for everyone, okay? So these are the areas I want to suggest, and again, you can add, you might find some you want to add and some you want to take out. So one, I have spirituality and purpose. Okay, spirituality is where I find my purpose, right? Connecting to God. So that's number 1. Number 2, physical health. Number 2, emotional health. So important. Emotional health and emotional well-being. I always feel if we don't have that, none of this stuff or all of this stuff becomes very difficult, right? Our emotional health has to be one of the main things that we focus on, okay? For me, and I see this play out in all of my clients, okay? So emotional health. Number 4, romance. Number 5, parenting. Number 6, career or your job or your business if you're a business owner. Number 7, money, finances. Number 8, friendships. Number 9, fun. Number 10, your environment, your home or your vehicle. I like to have that just to keep my space decluttered. Number 11, your possessions, what you own. And then number 12, your contribution. How are you giving back? How are you contributing in the world? And I put here, create a PDF. So this tool, I don't want you guys to just think of it in your head. I want you to actually get just like the future self exercise, and I want you to write down what you see. I want you to create your vision in a PDF. And why that's so important is you can revisit it, you can review it, you can update it, you can change it, you can play with it. This is such an awesome tool to create. Just label it my vision for 2023. Okay, and then in each area, again, I want you to ask yourself, what do I want in each area? Okay, so maybe a spirituality, maybe that looks like, I just had my client last week and she's like, yeah, I really wish like I was taking my girls to church every Sunday. Okay, so that would be something that would go under spirituality. Okay, so what would your life look like ideally? Okay, I want to be taking my kids to church. I want to be, praying all day. I want to be, maybe reading the Bible or reading a devotional every morning. Like, what does it look like for you, that area in your ideal life? Okay, physical health. Okay, ideally, I would want to be working out 3 times a week. I would want to be cooking at home 5 nights out of the week. I would weigh this much, this is what the scale would say, okay? So what does that area look like in your ideal life? Your emotional health. Maybe you're free of anxiety, or you feel happy, you feel at peace, you meditate, you do yoga, like whatever it looks like for you. What would that look like if you were managing your emotional health? Okay, what would that feel like? What would that look like? Again, romance. Okay, maybe we're doing a date night. Maybe we're communicating better. What would that area look like? And then go through each of these and create your vision. And you don't have to worry about getting too specific, because again, like I said, in tomorrow's video, we are going to make goals out of this vision. So here, this is more about creating an overall vision of what your ideal life looks like. You fast forward to the end of 2023, what would you want if you could wave that magic wand? What would you want each of these areas to look like ideally? And again, you don't have to worry about the goals necessarily yet, because tomorrow we're going to take this vision and we're going to break it down. But just really think about your overall vision in each of these areas, okay? And again, create a PDF, create a tool, because this tool you can use over and over and over again, okay? And then the last thing I want to talk about in day 1 and today is connecting to your why. Okay, so your why is literally like the gas in your car. Your why is what's going to keep you motivated and keep you going when you feel like quitting, because you will. Growth is not easy. And I always tell my clients, like, your brain is not wired for growth. Your brain is simply wired to keep you safe. So it's going to say, seek pleasure, avoid pain, and expend minimal energy and effort. And all 3 of those things keep us from growth. They keep us from changing our life. Those 3 things right there. Our brain's just like, I don't want to feel hard things, right? I don't want to feel stress. I don't want to feel uncertainty. I'd rather just avoid it. And then I'd rather seek pleasure and drink alcohol and overeat and binge on Netflix. Right? So we have to fight everything that's wired into our brain in order to change. And that's why most people don't change. As soon as they get uncomfortable, they stop. Okay? They're like, oh, wasn't meant for me. I'm not capable of it. And it's like, no, you are. It's just you're focusing on the wrong things and you're not getting through the cycle. And in day 3, I'll talk to you about the cycle of what most people do and setting goals and then feeling hard things and quitting, right? It's just like, it's a normal cycle that until we learn about it and we learn to outsmart our own brain, it's very hard to create change. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with you. And that's where a why is so important. So I always think, like, if you have a why that really, if you have a motivating why, like a really strong why, nothing is going to keep you from getting that goal, getting that result. So I think about, my friends always laugh about, we were in Florida and my daughter was really young, and we got dressed and we were just all dolled up going out to dinner, and my daughter, we were like standing by like the resort, there was like a pool. And so we're all just getting ready for dinner, and my daughter, I forget how old she was, maybe like 4, I don't remember the exact age, but she was like running around and she fell into the pool. Okay, and my friends always laugh. My friend Jenna is always like, she's like, you couldn't even see you. You were like a blur. It was like so fast. Like my husband was just like, oh, like, and so I like dove into the pool and I'm fully dressed, like all my makeup, my dress, my watch, like everything. And I always laugh because I'm like, you think people float, but she kind of just like sank to the bottom. So I dove down and got her. And I think about that when I think about, because they're like, you are so fast. I'm like, of course. Nothing could keep me from jumping in that pool, right? Because my why was my daughter. Where if someone had come up and gone, hey, Jacqueline, I'll give you $50 to jump in the pool with all your clothes on and your jewelry on and whatever, I would have been like, like, no thanks, not worth it to me, right? Because my why doesn't outweigh the action, right? I'd be like, no, I'm fine. I'm fully dressed and ready to go to dinner. But my daughter falls in the pool and it's like, nothing could stop me. That's the power of a why, right? My coach would always say, like, if I had a gun to, this is like a terrible example, but she's like, if I had a gun to like a loved one's head, like, you wouldn't overeat. You wouldn't drink the alcohol, right? Because your why would be so strong. That's the importance of connecting to your why. And most of the time we think that we know why. We think we have like I call it a surface level why. We think we know why we want the things that we want, but we don't dig deep enough to find the real why. Because when we find the real why, nothing will stop us from getting the result, okay? So let's talk about how to connect to your why. I want you to look at each category in your vision. Okay, so spirituality and physical health and mental health, I want you to look at each of those categories separately. And I want you to ask yourself, why is this important to me? When I look at this vision for each area, why is this important to me? Okay? And then I want you to ask yourself, what will it feel like when I have my result? Like, what will that feel like when I'm living that area like that? What does that feel like to me? What other areas of my life will be affected? Such a good question. Sometimes we think it's just one thing. And it's like when I do my consults with my clients, they come to me with something specific. And I always say, I know you're coming to me for this, but we're going to rate and look through each area of your life, because what you'll find is how you do one thing is how you're doing most things, right? How you do one thing is how you do all things. So you'll find like patterns to that, okay? So very important to look at different areas of your life and how they'll be affected. And some people think like, okay, I'll lose weight, right? But they don't think of the impact that has on, they're like, I want to look better in a bikini, I want to lose weight. But they're not thinking about, okay, if I lose weight, maybe I'll be more comfortable, more confident. Maybe I will then be able to ask for that raise because I'm more confident. Maybe I'll be able to go on videos and do live videos and market my business, right? Maybe losing weight will enable me to, right, grow my business and make more money, right? Maybe losing weight will make my relationship with my spouse better, right? I'll be more confident and we'll have sex and be more connected that way. Okay, so different things that we work on, right? We have to think of that when we're thinking about our why, is like, how will this area play out into so many areas? How will losing weight affect my kids? Will I have more energy to play with them and connect with them, right? Like, how will mental health, like my emotional health, when I look at that, how will that impact my spouse? How will that impact my kids, my relationship with my boss? Right? How will that affect all these different areas of my life? That's the power of really figuring, like, ask yourself all three of these questions. Okay, and then I want to talk to you guys about doing something called a 7-layer why exercise. And this is where I talk about digging deep and getting to not just the surface level why, but to the real why. It's like peeling back an onion, right? You want to get to the core and find the real why here, okay? So 7-layer why exercise is where you want to look at each area specifically, and then you want to ask yourself, why is this important to me? And what's going to happen is your brain is going to give you an answer. You ask yourself something, you're going to answer it. So your brain's going to spit out an answer to you. You're going to say, okay, I'm just using the weight for an example. Okay, you're going to say, why do I want to lose weight? And why is that important to me? And you're going to come out with, well, I want to look good in a bikini. And then, so whatever your brain spits out to you, take that answer and then ask yourself again, why is this important to me? Okay, so I want to look good in a bikini. Why is this important to me? Well, because I want to feel confident. I would feel confident or sexy. Okay, so feeling confident and sexy. Let's take that answer. Why is this important to me? And then you're going to say, well, because Maybe I haven't been connecting. I want my husband to look at me. I want to feel sexy and confident when my husband looks at me. Okay, whoa. Then we're going to take that answer. Why is this important to me? Well, because, we haven't been connecting lately. So do you see what I'm doing? I'm taking the answer and we're going 7 layers deep. And as you get deeper and deeper into your reason why, you're going to go from a surface level why, if I want to look good in a bikini, to your very deep why. The thing that's really going to make you motivated to get that result. When you think of why you really want it, what is it really going to mean for your life? What is the impact that having that is going to have on your life and everyone around you? That's how you find your deep why. So I want you guys to do this exercise. Again, remember I said the easy part's the video. I want you guys to actually do the work after the video. So take some time, do your future self exercise, create your life vision, and then I want you guys to connect to your why, okay? And then after you've done this and you really feel like you're going to know when you find your why, when you feel it in your body, okay? You're going to be like, whoa, like that feels different. Like that hits different when I think of that than I do of, looking better in a bikini. Okay, you're going to feel something in your body. It's going to evoke an emotion where you're like, that is my why. That's my motivating factor. That's my motivating why. Okay, so I want you to write that next to, in your vision, I want you to write next to each area, what is your real why? Why do you really want that? And then I want you to rate how important change is in that area on a scale from 1 to 10. So when you look at that area and you look at your vision and you look at your reason why, how important is that? How important is change in that area from 1 to 10? And if you don't think of like an 8 or higher, like an 8, 9, or 10, I want you to go back and think again of your why, okay? Because you haven't hit it yet. If you're not really feeling that motivated, you don't have a good enough why, okay? So you want to keep digging for that. And then again, write your deep why and your rating next to each category within your life vision, okay? So that ties up our day 1 in your best year yet, 2023. And then tomorrow is where the rubber hits the road. We're gonna take this vision and we're going to break it down into goals. And I'm going to talk to you guys about effective goal setting and why maybe you've created goals in the past and why they haven't been effective. Okay, we're going to break this down and really get into making a plan for 2023. Okay, I love you guys, and ask any questions on the video, or you can shoot me a message on anything that you heard today, anything you want clarification on or you want to dive deeper on. I would love to help you. So you can comment below in the video or message me directly. All right, and I am super excited to see you guys tomorrow. I love you and have a great rest of the day. Bye.